Yeah, all right, so we're working off that jam track. If you don't have the jam track, it's down below on that link. That'll get you 2 tracks. We're doing the E major, you know, the kind of happier sounding one. We're working on combining major and minor pentatonic now, which is my favorite thing ever. I could do 100 lessons on this, but I'm going to give you the basic premise of it, let you work with it. Down the line, I'll keep, you know, introducing more ideas on how to work with it, how to kind of bend it, manipulate it, do your own kind of thing to it. But right now we're just going to kind of give you a bunch of different ideas. It's going to go over a lot of information really quickly, so just watch the video over and over and rewind the little spots. I'm just trying to stuff it all in because of the time constraints we have. You know, I only got 15 or 20 minutes to share with you guys. So I hope you totally enjoy this one. This has been the most mind-blowing experience for me when somebody showed me this, all the different possibilities you have and new ways to make your own playing more exciting. So let's get to it. All right, so let's pack a ton of these riffs into one lesson. Now you guys are just gonna have to rewind and go over because I'm gonna blow through a bunch of different ideas because we're, you know, kind of a little time constraints going on. So what we want to do is, remember, we're doing major and minor pentatonic together. Now when you combine those together, and some of the riffs we're going to be doing could actually be called other scales, but I don't want to confuse you. So what we're doing is just combining major and minor pentatonic. Now remember, that's E minor pentatonic. If you want to find out major, you just go down 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. Right? Or a lot of you would know that as C sharp minor pentatonic, but it's the relative major. So right? So we're going down. Right? See how it takes on a way more happy sound than the minor does. We play it differently because our E's are in different spots. Right? Blah, blah, blah. You get the point. So what we're going to do, or maybe you don't, so I'm going to try to explain it. But what we're going to do is combine those things. So we went over some other the riff and the ideas and how I approach the stuff. Here's what I do for riffs. So I'll take an idea. Let's just do a bending riff. I'll take position 2 of E major, and I'm going to put it inside of position 1 of E minor. So I'm going to slide up. So that's sliding into the major third out of the E chord. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend up on the 14th a half step so it goes to that 15th fret, and then we're going to grab 14 on the high E, and then I'm going to use my first finger to grab the E note, or the 12th fret on the high E. And then I'll pull it back into minor, or bending up to that E note. Right? 12th fret, 12th fret, E, B, and then bending up on the B string 15. So we got. And then you can come down any way you want. One of the ways I like to come down, it's a big stretch, but we're going to go 16 to 12. Or, right, so I'll pull off, and then I'm going to grab 15 on the B, back to 16 on the E. So it, so, and then I'm going to go, so that's pulling off 12 or 15 to 12, going up to 15 on the G, back to 12 on the B, and then I'm going to slide 15, 14, and pull off on the G string. And then I'm going to do the stacking, hammer on from 12 to 13, and then back to the E note on the D. So, right, now we've taken position basically 1 of minor, and then we're fusing position 2 for that bend, or right, going back into E minor, and then I'm going to reach to position 3, just this one note of E major, bend back into the, or pull off back into the shared note of position 1 and 2 of the major and minor. Minor, right? Add the blues note to our minor scale, and then basically resolve to an E chord. Right, so that's one thing. You can also do that exact same bend sequence, but you have to use a whole step bend down here on the 7th and 5th frets. So I'm going to bend up a whole step on B7, grab E7, E5, and then bend down. Now right here, you're in basically the same frets as position 3 E minor pentatonic, or position 4 rather of E major pentatonic. So position 3 of minor is right here. Position 4 of major is very close, right? So you can do that. Right, that note brings it back to that minor sound, or you can climb in on the 6th fret and it gives it that more of that major. Bend minor. That right there, I do this a lot in E minor pentatonic, as I'll use it. So that's right, that's on the E string, so we're going 7, 6, 5, and then I'll hammer on and pull up 5 to 6, and then I'll go 8 on the B, right? But you can keep that kind of idea, that walk down, and then use it into a major sound, hammering into that major third. Right, you can do a big step and a half bend. Right, and that's just walking down chromatically. Right? Octaves, right? We're going over the octaves again, but you're chaining them together so it sounds almost like it's different, because you've introduced a riff using that chromatic sequence, and then you went into another riff using the chromatic sequence, but you ended in a different way. So you got right, and going back and resolving into E. Now you can do more exotic stuff combining those scales together, and one of those things that you can do is we're working out of position 3 of E major pentatonic. Now this can be called a different scale, but just think of it as major and minor for right now. Right, that's 16 and 14 on the E, and then we're going to go 15 and 14. So I've combined, right, E minor, position 1, and then position 2 of E major. So we went. Now I'm going to go back to E minor, and then I'm going to go to that major third. So we got. Now I'm going to go up the E minor scale, and then hit that major third again. So we got. Now one of the things I like to do from there is slide down skipping strings. So what I did was I went from 9 to 11, and then I went 9 on the G, back to 11, and then I slide down on the G, 9 to 7. And then I grab 9 on the A string, and then I'm going to slide down 1 fret, and then I'm going to go big pull off. So I went 9 to 5, and you can pull off, or so I go. That's a pull off from 7 to 5. that walk down again. So we got you can do all that kind of stuff where you're combining down here in open position, right? But it just sounds nasty down here because you can use open strings. Right? That's just a hammer on open A. Open A, first fret, pull off, third fret E, and then back to E down on the D. Or you can go G, back to open A, pull off. Right, so you combine all these riffs together. We're mixing major and minor, either coming into it major, ending minor, coming into it minor, ending major, depending on where we are in our chord progression, right? When we go to the part of the song, that's more minor. I might use some of those passing tones, but I'm trying to stay more minor sounding in that section of the song. And then coming out of that, you can do your riff, right? When you come out of that section. It's hard to hit because it goes by fast, but you know, they're just stuff. That's another thing. Don't be so concerned about whether you're hitting everything all the time, right? It's an exercise in improvisation, on the spot, on the fly. A lot of times you get up to jam with friends, you've never played the song before, or you will get up to jam with friends, you've never played the song before, and you've practiced in your room or whatever a million times going over these riffs, trying to keep in time, having a sense of time behind you, so when you get up to play, you can jam and have fun and be confident that you can play in the pocket or along with the rhythm section using these scales together because you've done it over and over in your room. So I'll just do a little bit of review over the riffs that we've done, right? One of the things I want you to think about too is playing in the pocket. Now I realize some of you might know what that is or might not know what that is, right? So let me give you an idea. So you got the hi-hat, and then you have doom da, you know, basically with the drums. Now the beat's a little bit different, but that's the basic premise of the beat. So one thing you can do to start playing in the pocket is just hitting all those. Listen, here we go. Right, see, I'm right on the beat. Now you can double that. I'm doing is I'm basically subdividing the time a little bit differently, you know, per given riff, but I'm trying to stay within those parameters of that time that the rhythm section is putting down. So you can do simple faster. Double time. And that's pulling both together, right? So you're just starting to work on getting your rhythmic chops along with your scale chops together, because that's really when you hear great artists and they can play, you know, a quarter of that speed. You know, David Gilmour, Pink Floyd, doesn't play fast, but his solos are legendary because he just has a great sense of time. He knows how to mix those scales together, and he has really good note choice. So work on that kind of stuff as well. You know, there's just lots of different things. Think about chaining stuff together with simple movements that maybe they're the same interval apart. So you can go like 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, up a whole step, right? You're still a whole step apart, so we want. Now we'll go to a bigger interval and we'll slide up to 9 or 12 and 9. Right? That's position 5 of E minor. And then up a whole step slide like that back into E minor. So we've gone from 3rd position all the way back up to position 1. And then you can do a different kind of sequence. Right? I've gone from position 1 down to position 5. Little chromatic in there. Now don't forget those quarter note bends too. Those are really cool for developing feel. Here we go. Right, and in that kind of feel, and it pulls time a little bit when you're like, right, you're like, oh, is he gonna hit it? And then you hit it on the beat, right? So you're really adding tension by doing that, and really waiting to the last second to move on to that hit, right? So those are just all the things you can think about. Now I'm going to keep posting lessons on how to do this stuff, but that's enough to give you ideas, right? We're mixing one spot, major and minor together. Right? We're doing it there. We're doing... Right? In those two positions, we're pulling it back from major to minor sounds. Right? That's position 4 of minor. But I'm pulling it into that major sound. You know, this is position 1 E major right here. Back into position 4. Position 3 of minor. And I'm going to hammer on that major note. Back into E minor, position 1. Right? So we went... Right, so you're just getting back and forth between these two scales. Now, use that as a guidepost, but you don't have to learn my riffs, you know, note for note. Just take those ideas and expand upon it in your own way. That's what I've done. My buddy Mark is just one of the best guitar players I've ever seen in my life, and he hit me to this kind of playing, and it just opened up my whole world because I was really, truthfully bored with my own playing. And this kind of stuff gives you so many creative options that it's endless what you can do. Remember rhythm, quarter note bends for the feel, right? Mixing major and minor together. Another thing you can do, you can also remember the octaves. You can do the same riff in multiple spots all over the neck, right? Try it in different spots, get the riff down. Also, just work on, you know, the feel. Right, coming into a bend slow, you can go, or, right, or, right, so we're bending up a note. We're taking one note and we're hitting it multiple ways, right? We got just straight into it, or slowly into it, or into it and then down and then back up. Right, and really working the notes. You know, I'm blowing by all these notes, showing you different options you can do combining the scales together. But when I play you know, live, I milk notes way more, you know, because that's what really grabs onto people. And then you throw the flair in there to kind of keep people excited, right? Right, and you're combining those together, but you're really pushing and pulling and grabbing people with the bent notes or the vibrato or any of that kind of stuff. So that's super important too. All right, hope that helps. Catch you next time.